The world's hottest game, not to mention its most ruthless and individualistic pursuit, has been transformed into a team sport. 6 countries have chosen their greatest poker players to do battle for $100,000 and a trophy which is currently possessed by the British, who are fighting to keep it. For once, it's not just about money or silverware, but national pride in the PartyPoker Poker Nations Cup. Representing Team USA tonight, Kevin O'Donnell.
I picked Kevin O'Donnell to play first today. First of all, 2 of my teammates just got in, so they might be a little bit jet lagged, so we wanted to give them rest. So then it was down to 4 people. KO hasn't played the structure before, but he's been really hot lately. He's been playing really strong. And I wanted him to get the Americans off to a strong start since he's got a lot of momentum. That's why we picked Kevin O'Donnell first.
Making the British selection, Captain Dave Elliott.
Well, the reason I put Paul Gardner in first was I figured there'd be a bit less pressure on him, because although he's a very successful internet player and makes a living on it, this is his first TV appearance, and I figured if he went on first, you know, the worst can happen, he goes out first, and we can still go on and win it, no problem. So, if he'd have gone on like in the last game at the end of the week, and we was in a bad point situation, there's more pressure on him. There's no pressure on now. I just told him to enjoy himself and make sure he wins, otherwise don't speak to us ever again.
For Denmark, it's the captain, Theo Jørgensen.
In the first heat, I'm picking myself, and that's only mainly because of superstitious. Last year, I played the first heat and won, pretty much cruised through and won, so I'm hoping for the same time, this time around.
Representing Holland, Arthur van der Meuren.
Well, the reason why I picked Arthur van der Meuren to start as the first player from the Dutch team, he's a great solid player, and we would love to have a starting result that counts.
For Germany, it's Benjamin Kang.
I picked Benjamin Kang from Germany today because the first heat normally is a little bit more tight, more conservative. And he is aggressive, and this is the right answer to play in the first heat.
And here's the Swedish captain, Bo Selstedt.
The way we decided who was going to play today was just by drawing for it. We have a very even and strong team, and it ended up being Anders Hendriksson playing for us in the first heat today, and he's very experienced and great player in this kind of tournaments.
6 players in each team. 1 of each of those does battle in every heat, and this is the first. I'm joined by Barney Boatman.
Evening, Vicky.
Very exciting tournament, Barney.
Yes, it is. There's nothing quite like this Poker Nations Cup.
You can stop and put a big...
In this tournament, the players are acquiring points depending on where they exit. The first person out tonight will get 1 point for the team, and the winner will get 16 points. So that pressure is there to bring home the bacon.
Avoiding the card.
It's a very relaxed mood at the table, very friendly, very chatty.
And you can't tell me what's
You would never know that national pride was at stake.
That's why I'm getting suspicious.
Well,
Call.
mostly they're keeping their heads down. They're only playing hands. But O'Donnell is getting involved with all sorts of cards, showing already why he's a great chip gatherer in multi-table tournaments. And Gardner, he feels all the time that O'Donnell's at it, that he's up to something. But these two just in the blinds here.
2 players.
And with both of them having completely missed, it's Gardner who's got position.
Check.
And if O'Donnell checks to him again, will he try and take it away? Well, Gardner's hit a pair here.
I like the way that Paul Gardner is doing everything slowly, everything thoughtfully.
100.
Well, this is very interesting because O'Donnell correctly read that Gardner had none of the flop. But will Gardner feel now that picking up that 4 on the turn is enough If O'Donnell was trapping him, then the 4 would still be no good. If O'Donnell's trying to steal, then the 4 is plenty.
O'Donnell likes the fact that that 4 has given him a middle pin straight draw.
Raise to 350.
Well, that's great play. Great play. He wants to find out right away where he is. If you're stealing, then this is the end of this one. If you've got a draw, it's going to cost you. And O'Donnell, you couldn't blame him for being a bit baffled. Gardner didn't like the flop. How can the 4 have made his hand? Whatever he does, he won't do it quickly. He doesn't want Gardner to know he was on the complete steal.
Raise another 500.
That is a fantastic play. Knowing that if Gardner had a really big hand, he'd have heard him. Kevin O'Donnell, with a bit of a semi-bluff, a 5 would give him a straight, puts in the 3rd raise. I mean, this
is great poker. This is great poker. We've got a steal, effectively a re-steal, and a re-steal, and Gardner, I think, is going to have to put this one down. Neither of them understand what went on the flop, but on the turn, all hell has broken loose.
Yeah, I mean, from Gardner's point of view, O'Donnell has played this as though he's got a pair of kings in his hand. You know, he seemed to have a hand. He was confident enough to limp before the flop. He's checked the flop. Now he wants to put in a 3rd raise. There's no way that Gardner can call, and it is brilliant play from the American, which I think his team captain, Robert Williamson, will be cheering in that green room.
Great play by both players there, Vicky. But really, O'Donnell showing a very, very classy move.
Getting picked to play on the U.S. team is an honor. You know, I'm playing with talent like Antonio Esfandiari, Robert Williamson, Phil Locke, Jennifer Tilley, Cloney Gowan. It's a nice thing, so I'm pretty excited, and I don't feel a whole lot of pressure, but it's, you know, you've got your peers around watching every hand you play. It puts a little bit in the back of your mind.
How do you play this game? Don't ask me. Here's Barney.
Each player receives 2 cards face down from the dealer. The 2 players to the immediate left of the dealer post 2 compulsory bets, which are known as the blinds. Play then proceeds in a clockwise direction, with each player having to make a betting decision. They can call, match the current bet, or raise, put more money into the pot, or they can fold, throw their cards away. Once this round of betting is over, the dealer reveals the flop, 3 community cards dealt in the middle of the table. More betting follows. Then comes a 4th card, the turn card, and a 5th card, known as the river. Players must make the best 5-card poker hand using the 7 cards available. Once the betting is over, the players reveal their cards, and the player with the best hand wins the pot.
Marina Kremser, the dealer, and Thomas Kremser, the tournament director. That name may sound like a coincidence, but no, they're a married couple. The one person who's been very quiet at the table so far is Theo Jørgensen, the Danish captain, who everyone fancied would be the real aggressor.
Well, no, we've seen him make a couple of steals with no hand, and but you know, he knows that if he does it too much, they're not going to believe him.
Check.
And it's O'Donnell, of course, as we know, who's really making the running here.
2 players.
Well, this is interesting. Both players have made a pair of 6s. Theo Jørgensen has got the big kicker, but Kevin O'Donnell of the USA has a straight draw.
I expect Jørgensen to come over the top here, Vicky. Well, no. He just wants to have a look and see if O'Donnell wants to carry on, and if it comes. Oh, well, that is terrible news for O'Donnell. That's an absolute cold deck. Both with 3 6s now. Jørgensen with the ace kicker. How deep is this one going to go?
I think it's going to go a long way. Kevin O'Donnell is going to have to raise. There is no way he can do otherwise, I'm sure.
Call.
Well, this is very, very interesting. I don't know whether he's decided to disguise his hand or if he smelt something and feels that there's some danger out there. But, I mean, if Jørgensen bets and O'Donnell only calls here, Vicky, you can chalk that down as a great save by O'Donnell.
This tournament shows some of the greatest poker players from all over the world, and it's a sign of the respect I think they have for each other, that they are playing quite cautiously. They're thinking about it. Kevin O'Donnell is seriously considering that he doesn't have the best hand.
Call.
Well, he's only called, and that, as far as I'm concerned, is fantastic play by O'Donnell. He could have gone broke there, and not only is he one of the great chip getters, he's one of the great chip savers, Vicky, and you can see why Robert Williamson thinks that he's the surprise package of this team. And although Jørgensen has won the pot there, I think that when he sees the hand, if he does, he'll feel he could have won a lot more.
All 6 players remaining in this heat of the PartyPoker Poker Nations Cup. Each player began tonight with $5,000 in chips, hoping to collect all 30,000 on the table and a nice juicy 16 points for their team. And as captain, there is surely pressure on Theo Jørgensen to set the mood for his team from the off.
He's playing with an enormous amount of freedom, Vicky, and he wants to get into pots. Some of these players want to stay out of pots. Jørgensen wants to get into them. And Kang has the kind of hand which, if somebody wanted to start playing, well, he's just calling. He's out of position. It's a difficult hand to call out of position, but he feels that Jørgensen's been making a lot of raises, and he wants to see a flop with this hand.
Check.
Well, nobody really has anything. There are some draws out there, but they've both checked it.
I mean, it was a scary-looking flop for Jørgensen to see, because Kang now feels he can represent.
Bets 625.
This is good play, and I think Jørgensen's going to have to give this one up, Vicky.
Do you know, if we were going to bet on this, Barney, I fancy Jørgensen would raise. I don't know if he'll believe that that 5 is good for Kang.
Cool.
We're both wrong.
Call it a draw. Call it a draw. He's not sure exactly where he stands, but of course he does have that gut shot draw, which helps him a bit. But if Kang can follow through here, if he can smell Jørgensen's hesitation and follow through with another bet, then a call by Jørgensen would be very, very impressive indeed.
I think Jørgensen knows that Kang has not got much. To bet the turn and river when he checked the flop, he's supposed to have a 5 in his hand. But with what hand containing a 5 would Kang have called the pre-flop raise? I think that's what Jørgensen's trying to work out. It would be a heroic call if he made it.
Well, he's only beating an out-on-out bluff.
If Kang had a 9, he'd bet the flop. If he had a 7, he'd check the river. So it's supposed to be a 5, but how can it be?
Well, unless it's a house, Vicky.
Yeah, I mean, if Kang has called the pre-flop raise with a pair and hit the board, then of course Jørgensen's in big trouble. But as chip leader, he can afford to make a great call.
What
and
a great call. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And you called it right, Vicky. He worked it out exactly the way that you did, and that was a brilliant, brilliant call.
Yeah, I mean, this is the mark of a captain. The Danish team is watching, and what leadership shown by Theo Jørgensen. The courage of his convictions to make the call.
I'm pretty good at picking up weaknesses at the other people and have the can you say balls to follow that and make a move on 5 deuce off if I think the other guy is not capable of calling.
Theo Jørgensen is coming in as one of the players with experience from the previous Poker Nations Cup when he won his heat, playing with great freedom, great confidence, putting on a bit of a show at the moment.
Kevin O'Donnell from America made a great start, but has gone very quiet the last few hands. And Jørgensen raising.
Raise to 600.
With a tricksy little number.
Pass.
Yeah, Jørgensen really starting to use his chips well. And we've seen O'Donnell. I really like the way O'Donnell's gone back into his shell after having a nasty accident after his good start. He's shown he's got more gears in his play.
Pass.
Hendriksson, he's decided to take a stand, and this could be a very, very good him to do it.
Yeah, that's lovely. He's found a nice hand. He knows Theo Jørgensen is likely to raise with all manner of cards. His king-queen is perfectly likely to be winning.
1870.
Great timing by Hendriksson. Jørgensen has been caught with his fingers in the till. He's only thinking about the amount now. He's thinking about his pot odds.
14. 14 is a lot better than 19. 19 I wouldn't go. 14 I might take a sick chance.
Well, the original raise was 600.
And put William on tilt again.
He's got a lot of chips. As you say, he's already put 600 in. He knows that unless there's a pair out there, he's getting the right price to call. And Hendriksson deserves this hand to stand up, Vicky. He really doesn't deserve to go out this early. He's played very well.
Denmark, just 6-5 of spades.
Just a bit loose.
Doesn't last for the 6.
It's very rarely I lose those.
And here comes the flop.
You're undefeated with a 6. So
I'm definitely a favorite in this hand.
Flop comes King, Jack,
Well, that's a great
Ace,
start
kings for Sweden.
for Hendriksson.
Yeah, running cards would bring a straight. But other than that,
Or a
well,
flush.
it is now an up and down straight draw and a flush draw for Theo Jørgensen. A spade, a 4 or a 9 would end Sweden's first heat.
He's really having the sweat on this one, Vicky, but he's made 3 kings. And really, that's justice. He made a good, strong play at the right time, and he deserves to get back into this game.
Yeah, I'm sure even the ice-cool Swedes will have been quaking when they saw that turn card. Justice restored on the river. And it's a double up for Anders Hendriksson. I wonder what Bo Selstedt's pulse is doing in the green room.
Well, Bo Selstad is a big, big cash player. He's been involved in lots of big games, but this is something different. This is something special. When your nation's pride is at stake, of course, they're all on the edge of their seats, Vicky.
Pass.
With that pot, Hendriksson is finally off the floor and mid-table. He can afford to relax a little. Kang of Germany has found a pretty nice hand with a few people having passed already.
The trouble is with the way Kang's playing, he's limping with these hands, and he's calling raises with his hands. He's caught in 2 minds the whole time.
Well, this is very interesting. Hendriksson, he's finally got his hands on some
Raise
chips.
800.
Well, he smelt the weakness on Kang. Now Donald has got a real decision here with ace-queen. Is he going to correctly read Hendriksson's raise? Hendriksson hasn't gone out of line too much, Vicky, so far.
Well, there's so many factors here. I mean, O'Donnell has just seen Hendriksson put his tournament on the line and double up. He might think if the man had no hand, he'd happily pass and have a rest.
Well, O'Donnell doesn't know exactly where he stands with ace-queen, but it's too big a hand he feels for him to put down. And has he priced Kang in here by making that call?
Yeah, I think plan A for Hendriksson was that everyone would pass around to Kang, and he would also pass. He certainly doesn't want 2 callers.
Call.
Well, I mean, even if Hendriksson hits a king, he's not going to be quite sure where he is here. But O'Donnell it is who's in the driving seat in this pot, and this is very, very bad news for Kang.
Check.
Well, this is exactly where you say, Barney, because he didn't raise himself before the flop. Kang can't know where he is.
He can't like it too much, but very hard for him to escape without putting anything in. The only one who really knows where he stands in this pot is the pre-flop raiser, who knows he's got absolutely none of it. And O'Donnell is giving himself no more decisions.
Well, this is a very interesting situation for Kang. O'Donnell is low on chips. He's moved all in. It could be a flush draw.
Yeah, it could be a 7 even, Vicky. You know, I mean, now he's got himself into bother. He has to make the call, and this O'Donnell, it is his turn now to be in a very strong position to double up.
What a hand of poker. Before the flop, the worst hand raised, the best hand called, and the medium hand has got itself in trouble.
Kicker raise. Germany shows queen 9, also pair queen.
So both teams, America and Germany, all in here. We are about to lose our first player.
Let's see the river card.
And it's going to be Germany.
And Germany finishing in 6th position.
Germany goes out in first place. 1 point for the German team. Horrible shock for captain Michael Keiner.
The mood at the table was quite aggressive. I mean, we rarely ever saw a flop without a raised pot, so we rarely ever saw a turn card or, God forbid, a river card, so it was quite aggressive play at the table. I think I brought put Germany in a bad spot now by finishing with 1 point. The other guys now have a lot of work to catch up here, but I still think we can do it, and we have a lot of strong players still behind me, so I'm very positive about our chances.
5-handed in this first heat of the PartyPoker Poker Nations Cup. The blinds are now 100, 200. The yellow chips are 25, green 100 and blue 500.
Pass. Raise to 600. Pass.
Wow, Van der Meren. That's a very flary play from the man we've seen so far.
Yes, well, Van der Meren taking advantage of the fact that he's not been seen to make too many raises up to now. Decided it's time to step things up a little bit. And O'Donnell with King Queen, if he could see Van der Meren's hand, would know what great shape he's in. But really a King High. He's once again calling, not quite sure where he stands.
Yeah, it's difficult. Van der Meren has played so few hands. I'd rather O'Donnell had made a decision there, you know, to raise or pass, but...
2 players.
Well, he's played a couple of times this way, and great flop for O'Donnell. And will he check and try and induce a bet here?
Well, this is a very interesting flop. It is top pair king kicker for O'Donnell, but a flush draw for Van der Meren, and O'Donnell's given him a free chance to hit it.
Well, I mean, of course, he was trap checking there, and I was very surprised that Van der Meren didn't bet that one. I mean, he's showed good instincts, decided to take a free card for the flush, but surely O'Donnell now must bet his hand. Will Van der Meren be prepared? He's shown that he's quite happy to give up draws. He doesn't want to get in too deep with them. And with a pair on board, he might decide to give up. Well, it's difficult. He's pretty sure that a heart would be good for him.
Call.
He might think a king would be good as well.
King would be horrible, of course, but the heart, what a huge card, and so difficult for O'Donnell to know.
O'Donnell may check this, yes. I mean, he'd rather check and call. And Van der Meren, what's he going to do? Just move the whole of the rest of his stack in?
1400.
Well, Van der Meren's bet 1400. It's really win-win for him. If O'Donnell calls, it's extra chips. If he passes, Van der Meren doesn't have to reveal the rubbish he raised with flop.
Right. Well, I mean, O'Donnell, I think, must have checked on the river to call this. And, well, if he passes, it will be extraordinary.
I call.
Yeah, well, he didn't like it. He knew that somehow or other it was going to be bad news, but at least he kept it cheap. I mean, he was a bit unlucky because he was trap checking on the flop. Great check on the flop by Van der Meren, which allowed the pot to develop the way it did.
2 strong players, the guy from the US, Kevin O'Donnell. I think he's pretty aggressive, so I will wait for him to do some re-racing. And I think the guy I respect most is the guy from Denmark. I think he's a pretty all-round very good player. So.
This is an absolutely key moment for Team America. Their man O'Donnell on the big blind. He's put in 400. He's got so few left. He is so desperate to defend that blind, so desperate to find a hand.
And Van der Meren has found a hand to attack the big blind with, and there's quite a wide range of hands that O'Donnell will be forced to defend with, Vicky.
Yeah, with an ace in his hand and only the blinds left to act, Van der Meren's entitled to believe he's winning. It's an understandable raise.
All in.
Well, he's moved all in, and look at this.
What a great time to find a pair of kings. I mean, as it happens, Van der Meeren's got 3 aces to hit, but just in time that hand arrived for O'Donnell.
USA shows pocket kings. O'Donnell shows ace-8.
Kevin O'Donnell has played a great game, but nothing's gone right for him tonight. Every time he puts sugar on his cornflakes, he finds he's used the salt by accident. Surely this time, the best hand will win.
Yeah, O'Donnell, the man with all the gears, and what a great flop for him. He's pretty safe now, Vicky.
Yeah, short for running straight. It will be a double up for America. Well, a 10 now. Would knock him out.
He's having to sweat for it.
In 5th position. Let's see.
Surely not.
And
Oh, no, that's so cruel. That is so cruel. This player has played so impressively. He played aggressively early on. He went into a show when he got unlucky. He came out playing aggressively again. He took his time, waited for a hand, and that was too cruel, Vicky.
What a horrible run of cards. America has done nothing wrong, and I hope Robert Williamson III has nothing to say to that man except unlucky.
Yeah, the last hand's always tough, unless it's the last hand of the tournament. So I woke up with pocket kings, and he hit a straight on runners, so what happens. My team's going to need to pick up some slack because I didn't get us a lot of points today, so I think they'll recover fine. We've got some good players coming in, and you know, we get first or second here and there and make up for my 5th place.
Welcome back. 4 players left in this heat of the PartyPoker Poker Nations Cup.
Pass.
16 points go to the winner of each heat. There are 11 points for second place, 7 for third, 4 for fourth, 2 for fifth, and 1 point for sixth.
A raise to 1100.
Hendriksson coming in with a raise. He's found an ace on the button. But it's a decision for Paul Gardner of Britain.
Paul Gardner sitting in the small blind with 1 player behind him. A suited ace, a reasonable kicker against quite an aggressive player. How deep does he want to go before the flop with this hand?
Pass.
Well, he didn't feel out of position. He wanted to get involved with a medium kickered ace, and he wants to defend that chip position. He did have a player behind him as well. That came into his thinking, and Jørgensen also with a playable hand.
I have to say, I'm very surprised by Gardner's pass there. He was looking at a raise from an aggressive player, a regular raiser. He's got a nice suited ace. I would have thought he would raise. As it is, he's left the way clear for Jørgensen.
I don't think he wanted to commit his whole stack, and this, I was going to say, is the kind of hand you might want to make a re-raise with. And he's going to give Hendriksson a real decision here. How do you like your rag ace? There's not many hands that he's beating, although Queen Jack certainly is one of them.
Call.
Great call, as it happens.
All-in shows Queen, Jack of Spades. Sweden shows Ace-6.
Now, we know that the Ace-9 of Spades has been passed, so the flush draw is a little weaker. This is nearly a 50-50. If Jørgensen loses this pot, then the captain of Denmark will be gone.
No help for
He
Denmark.
needs a queen or a jack to stay at the table.
Turn card is a 6. Pair of 6s for
Still
Sweden.
a queen or a jack to save the Danish captain.
We've got is a check.
Oh,
Denmark,
that was cruel. Hendriksson made a very, very strong call. He read the situation perfectly, but Jørgensen, who got his chips in first, and you're never wrong if you do that, and he's got himself right back into this game. He's now the chip leader, Vicky. Paul Gardner it is, who's now on the big blind, and he needs to be careful that he's not going to start to fade away at this four-handed stage. He's gone into his shell a little bit. Well, Hendriksson, the freedom of being the shortest stack. And was that a very, very quick call from Gardner?
It certainly was. Isn't that interesting? Gardner had been playing a bit cautiously, but he reckons the Swede will move with a lot of hands. He's happy with his ace, and we're racing for the next spot.
That's right. Gardner didn't even think about it because he felt that, as you say, it could have been King, Queen, Jack 10.
King 7.
As it is, the 4 still in front.
Turn card.
An ace or a 6 would knock Hendriksson out of this tournament. Any other card and he'll double up. And that is exactly what he's done. Paul Gardner of Britain has done nothing wrong in calling there. But it is Sweden who collects some chips.
Yes, I like Gardner's call there. He's here to win. He's not afraid. And he knows the power of an ace short-handed. It was unfortunate for him that he was up against a pair.
But a body blow to Britain. And a cheering moment for Sweden. And if we look at that leaderboard, Paul Gardner has slipped down. He's got less than 10 big blinds now. The eyes of Britain are on him as he tries to get out of trouble.
Pass. Pass.
Well, many people might move all in immediately with Gardner's stack and everyone having passed, but he thinks about it, as is his usual way.
Doesn't really want to just call, give Jørgensen either the chance to raise or just check with position. Yes, and I think that's the right decision.
Well, Jørgensen's called immediately.
Well, Jørgensen has got an ace, and so that was an easy call for him, just as it was for Gardner before.
Here comes the flop. Flop comes.
And there's the 3.
7. Pair of trays for Great
2
Britain.
blank cards would reward the bravery of Gardner tonight, but an ace or a 9 would dash his dreams.
Queen.
2 pair now, and that is it. Great Britain has doubled up, and what a relief for Paul Gardner, who found the guts to stick it in with Queen High.
That's right, Vicky, and you're never wrong if you get your chips in first in this game, and that's what he did, and he's been rewarded for some brave play.
I've been playing mostly online, so I haven't entered any particularly big tournaments or won any of that, but I've just been a very, very steady cash game player, so I've generally been winning about £3,000 a week, so I basically just keep it steady, and yeah, I've been bringing home quite a lot of money, so it's been good.
Four-way action in the first heat of the Poker Nations Cup. Paul Gardner of Great Britain is the shortest stack.
1500. Pass.
Nice strong under-the-gun raise from Danish captain Theo Jørgensen. Will Gardner move all in against him?
He's got a real decision.
Yeah, he can't call this bet. He's really got to throw his hand away.
Call.
Well, he's made the call. I would sooner see him raise for that extra way to win the pot of making the Dane fold.
That's right. He's got Jørgensen behind him. He doesn't know where Jørgensen's spot, but he might have decided to make a play on the flop, and that can be a stronger play. But now he can check it because he's hit his card.
That's right. It's come down very nicely for Gardner.
Now, is Jørgensen going to read this hesitation correctly?
Well, if Gardner thinks this long and then bets, it may look like a draw.
Time. Okay, 1 minute for decision.
Jørgensen's actually asked for time. He's asked tournament director Thomas Kremser to give Gardner 1 minute to decide what he's doing.
Well, I don't think Jørgensen understands at all the strength of Gardner's hand.
$1,500.
It's 1500.
Well, I like this bet now. Gardner's bet that, and he's trying to induce the raise.
Yes, I think that Jørgensen might feel that he's hurried Gardner into a decision, and that makes it harder for Jørgensen to understand the kind of hand that Gardner's got.
Roll in. Raises all
Well,
in.
that is dangerous. The raise was cleverly induced. It was made quick call from Gardner.
King, queen.
Yeah, I like this very much. That's twice Gardner has played Jørgensen in this way, and Jørgensen drawing pretty thin now. Gardner it is who's all in.
One card.
I think that the calling of time didn't help Jørgensen at all. One card to come, surely.
It's a 7.
Yes.
Red button doubles up.
Well, har and pieces of 8, says Captain Devilfish, as his man doubles up to seize the chip lead. And the Danish captain is down to a handful of shrapnel. Four-handed at the Poker Nations Cup, but it looks like it will soon be three-handed if Theo Jørgensen can't get a double up. And he's moved all in with ace-5 of spades on the button, as you would expect him to do.
I'd expect him to do it with a lot of hands, certainly with that one.
3,900.
Van der Meeren's found a very good hand to take him on behind.
All in.
Van der Meeren is all in, and with just Hendriksson to... Hendriksson's all in as well.
Oh, this is terrible news for Van der Meeren. He's in the worst shape of the three of them, Vicky.
Well now, Theo Jørgensen had the lowest stack as we went into this hand. So if two players are knocked out, Denmark would collect the 4 points and the other country would take the 7.
Sweden all in. Let's see the flop. Flop comes 7, 3.
2 spades on the flop.
2 spades.
There is hope for Theo Jørgensen.
Take a spade this time.
Pair of checks for Sweden in the lead.
Black.
Black. 9 of clubs. So we're got an open-ended straight now for Holland.
Check. Jack of diamonds.
Denmark needs a spade or an ace. Pair of checks still in the lead. Let's see the river card.
Spade.
It's
Yes.
It is a spade, and Theo Jørgensen doubles up.
Triples up.
Hendriksson wins the side pot, and nobody is knocked out, but unlucky Van der Meeren of Holland is cursing his luck for that hand. 4 players left in this heat of the PartyPoker Poker Nations Cup.
Pass. Call 600. No, that's...
I don't think he can really pass. He looks like he's got a bad hand.
We haven't done anything.
You could travel up.
He's forced to call with only 2 cards.
Check.
And it's unlikely that either of the others would raise without anything.
Denmark and Sweden on the side pot.
There is actually a small side pot, but they're both liable to check it out to try and get rid of this player.
Well, that is actually a nice flop for Van der Meeren. He's made a pair of 5s.
Check.
And it looks like he could be doubling up.
Deuce.
No.
Check.
It is 2 pair for Theo Jørgensen. So whatever happens in the side pot, Van der Meeren and Holland are going to be out of this tournament. He was actually winning that pot right up till the last card.
Well, Van der Meeren played a very solid game all the way through. He played a few little moves, mostly played his cards, and most unfortunate to lose that huge pot with the 10s, Vicky.
Very unlucky, and away from the table goes Van der Meeren with 4 points for Team Holland.
If I look at today, I think the Swedish guy and the Danish guy, I think they play the best poker. Kevin was pretty unlucky, and the English guy didn't get a clue at how he was playing. Overall, I think it's you have to play your own game. You want to win, and it's not so much in the back of your head that you want to have the points. It's more that you want to win this.
Gardner piling on the pressure now, and he's set his stall out. He's not afraid to get his chips in. He's not afraid to go out in 3rd place. He's going for the big prize now. That's 16 points for his team that will get so many chips in that big final.
How much do you have?
Well, Hendriksson just limping from the small blind.
A safe flop. Check.
Gardner has decided to take a look with position. Oh.
Well, he'll think he likes what he sees, but in fact, it's horrible. Gardner must believe his kings and threes are good. But he's checked it.
Well, he's setting a trap, or so he thinks. And the real trapper is Hendriksson. I like this. He's checked it twice. Surely Gardner must bet this now. 2 flush draws out there. He can't give away what he thinks is more free cards.
It's 600.
He's bet a very small amount, just 600.
Well, yeah, it's almost as if he smells something here. And when Hendriksson comes over the top, it's very easy to see how Gardner might be able to pass.
Raise is to 2000. All in. Re-raise all in.
Gardner thought that he was trapping Hendriksson. He made the small bet, just as we saw him do against Jørgensen. He made the small bet to induce the raise. He got it. He's moved all in. Must be a call.
Call.
And short of another king,
Sweden
it's a double up for Sweden.
Okay.
Well, very unfortunate, that flop. He didn't see the danger when he got re-raised on the turn there. What was he really beating, except a draw? But I guess there were too many chips in by the time he realised where he was.
For Great Britain, 2 pairs, kings and threes.
Only a king now, Vicky.
The river card. It's a 9 and Sweden double.
That's a huge shift in chips. That's going to make Hendriksson the runaway leader.
Yeah, I mean, with that incredible flop, Gardner is languishing in third. Cards coming out, and the chip leader is the captain of his own team, Theo Jørgensen.
Gardner on the button with another decision.
All in.
Yes,
Raise all in.
that's the all-in play. Sooner or later, Jørgensen is going to find something to take him on with.
Yeah, Jørgen muttering to himself that if he finds an ace, he'll make the call. If he does it here, he will be in horrible shape.
Oh, and he feels like he's right on the line here.
I will have to call.
He's announced call. A queen would knock Great Britain out of the first heat.
Britain, all in.
But
Denmark
more
call.
likely it will
Denmark
be
shows
a
queen
double up
10.
and a
Great
new
Britain
chip
shows
leader
king
again.
10. Flop comes 5, check, tray.
That is a safe flop for Gardner. Only a queen would be bad news for him.
6, no change.
Well, we're going to see the chip lead shift once again, or we're going to see Gardner come out if a queen should hit. No.
And that's it, double up for Great Britain, and the big chip lead now for the defending champions. Captain Devilfish has got to be delighted to see that happen.
And Jørgensen can only be pleased that he hasn't got a captain to report back to after making that call.
So we're down to 3 players in this heat of the PartyPoker Poker Nations Cup.
Pass.
All in.
Raise all in.
I am definitely, most certainly, calling.
Call.
Well, look at this. Gardner has announced all in. Jørgensen, I am definitely calling. There's so little in it. And look at this.
Oh, you're a
Gardner is chip leader.
Yeah.
9.
Unfortunately.
Gardner absolutely delighted to see the hand that Jørgensen called so quickly with is a hand that Gardner's actually beating. As you say, Vicky, there's very little in it, but it's Jørgensen with slightly less chips who's looking at walking out of this tournament.
The Danes will be shouting for a king or a queen on the flop, which would virtually guarantee victory. That's no good. It is a pair for Gardner. A king or a queen would save the Danish captain.
It's a king
Cowboys.
or a queen. Let's see the turn. 5.
Something rotten in the state of Denmark. They could be about to lose their captain, and they have.
Well, he's made so many escapes, so many strong plays, But it's ironic that the one player who outplayed him in this game, Gardner of Britain, was the one who took his chips in the end. And Jørgensen, he played a good, strong captain's game, but he's out in third.
Personally, I think I made a couple of mistakes. I got way too involved with a pair of threes. I shouldn't have gotten involved there. But it's minor mistakes, and I was okay with my performance. The team, as for the team now, we got points more than average, so that's okay too. So it's still looking okay.
Well, if you look at this, a 4-1 chip lead for Great Britain over Sweden. The clock is ticking loudly in the ear of Hendriksson.
Seen that look before. It usually means a decent hand, and certainly in this case.
All in.
Raise all in. Call.
Well, he's found the perfect hand to defend with.
Ace, king of hearts.
I don't think this is over yet, Vicky.
No, I wouldn't want to see the looks that are being exchanged between captains Bo Selstedt and Dave Elliott right at this moment. It could be a double up for Sweden, and by rights it should be.
Although there are 3 queens in the pack, and diamonds are there as well.
Oh!
Check 6.
Oh my goodness! A massive outdraw, and short of a king coming down, we're going to have a decision.
Well, a 10 would make a straight for Hendriksson.
Turn card is a deuce.
Only a 10 or a king.
And it's an 8.
It doesn't come. And last year's champions, Great Britain, go forward from the first heat with maximum points.
Well, Hendriksson went down very low early on. He fought himself right back into the game. He did his captain proud, but it really is this young online specialist, Paul Gardner, who surprised everybody. And what he's done for the Great Britain team cannot be overestimated, Vicky.
I'm absolutely dead chuffed, to be honest. Like, I came into this thinking getting a few points would be really great for the country, but to actually, I never really expected to do that. So I'm really, really chuffed with it.
Right now, I'm just disappointed. I'm going to win, but it was okay. Result for the team, of course, but you always want to win.
I think I did really well to not be intimidated by the other guys, because I thought they'd kind of try and bully me out of pots and force me to make bad decisions. But I think I was very good at kind of keeping calm, playing my game and not being affected by them. Well, thanks for picking me, Devilfish. Here's one for the GB team.
And looking at the leaderboard at the end of that first heat, defending champions Great Britain have got the maximum 16 points. Sweden hot on their heels with 11, followed by Denmark, Holland and America, with unlucky Germany on just 1 point at the bottom. Till next time, goodbye.
Next on for something slightly more energetic, Nordic skiing from Lillehammer.